Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about a nutrient so powerful that a single deficiency can steal a child's eyesight forever, yet so easily prevented that 2 drops a year can protect it completely. This is the story of vitamin A, its deficiency, and India's national vitamin A prophylaxis program, moving from universal prophylaxis to targeted sustainability. Let us begin by understanding what we call the biological vault, the storage and transport of vitamin A. Unlike water soluble vitamins, vitamin A is fat soluble and stored in the liver, mostly as retinol palmitate. A well nourished individual holds a 6 to 9 month biological reserve, which acts like a battery that is normally 75% full. But free retinol is highly active and toxic, so it must be safely transported through the bloodstream, bound to a carrier called retinol-binding protein. This creates a critical dependency because severe protein energy malnutrition decreases the production of this retinol-binding protein, trapping retinol inside the liver and simulating a deficiency even when stores actually exist. Now let us look at the dietary sources and what we call the conversion calculus. Animal sources provide preformed retinol with high efficiency. For example, ox liver provides 16,500 retinol equivalents per 100 grams, while halibut liver oil provides an extraordinary 900,000 retinol equivalents per 100 grams. Other animal sources include butter, eggs, and milk. On the other hand, plant sources provide provitamins and are the cheapest and most abundant sources, found in dark green leafy vegetables and yellow or orange fruits like spinach, amaranth, carrots, papaya, and mango. According to the recommended dietary allowance 2020 conversion standards, a 6 to 1 ratio applies for most carotenoids, meaning 6 micrograms of beta-carotene equals just 1 microgram of retinol equivalent, while a 12 to 1 ratio applies for alpha-carotene and beta-cryptoxanthin. It is important to note that this conversion is poorly accomplished in malnourished children or those suffering from diarrhea. Vitamin A performs 4 essential physiological functions, which we can think of as 4 pillars. Pillar 1 is vision, where vitamin A is indispensable for the production of retinol pigments required for dim light adaptation and seeing in dark environments. Pillar 2 is epithelial integrity, where it maintains the glandular and epithelial tissues lining the intestinal, respiratory, and urinary tracts, acting as a primary barrier against infection. Pillar 3 is immune defense, where vitamin A is highly anti infective, lowering susceptibility to respiratory and intestinal infections like measles and diarrhea, while preserving immune response. And pillar 4 is growth, where it supports cellular differentiation and skeletal growth in children. So, what causes deficiency in the first place? This brings us to the multiplier effect of deficiency. Three forces combine to create acute vitamin A deficiency. First, socio-demographics, where poverty and low maternal literacy directly correlate with inadequate dietary diversity. Second, inadequate dietary intake, which is the primary driver in India, where mean daily consumption is less than half the recommended dietary allowance, and over a third of children aged 1 to 6 consume below 25% of the recommended allowance. And third, what we call the disease multiplier, where recurrent infections like measles and diarrhea actively block absorption, while low protein intake and iron deficiency halt the synthesis of the retinol-binding protein transport vehicles, effectively stranding whatever vitamin A is consumed. Together, these three forces converge into acute vitamin A deficiency. Let us now understand the clinical spectrum of this deficiency, known as xerophthalmia. This condition progresses through reversible warning signs and irreversible blindness risk stages. It begins with XN, night blindness, defective vision in dim light. This progresses to X1A, conjunctival xerosis, where the conjunctiva becomes dry, muddy and wrinkled, and X1b, Bitot spots, foamy, triangular keratin deposits near the bulb or conjunctiva. These are the reversible warning signs. Beyond this point, the disease enters irreversible territory. X2 is corneal xerosis, giving the cornea a hazy appearance with superficial lesions. X3A is corneal ulceration, an open sore involving less than one-third of the corneal surface. X3B is keratomalacia, a grave medical emergency involving liquefaction of the cornea with more than one-third involvement. And finally, XS represents the resulting corneal scarring and permanent blindness. To determine whether vitamin A deficiency is a public health emergency in a given population, the World Health Organization has established specific threshold criteria. Night blindness, or XN, becomes a concern above 1% prevalence. Bitot spots, or X1b, becomes a concern above 0.5% prevalence. Corneal signs covering X2, X3A, and X3b becomes a concern above just 0.01% prevalence. Corneal scar, or XS, becomes a concern above 0.05% prevalence. And on the biochemical side, if serum retinol is below 10 micrograms per deciliter in more than 5% of the population at risk, aged 6 months to 6 years, this too signals a public health emergency. For biochemical diagnostics, several biomarkers are used along with important subclinical confounders. Serum retinol is the gold standard for subclinical assessment, with normal levels between 30 and 80 micrograms per deciliter, deficient below 20, and severe deficiency below 10. Serum retinol-binding protein, normally between 30 and 75 milligrams per liter, decreases in vitamin A deficiency, and serum zinc, normally between 75 and 120 micrograms per deciliter, acts as a crucial cofactor. However, there are important confounders to keep in mind. Retinol-binding protein synthesis is highly dependent on zinc, iron, and biotin availability. Additionally, C-reactive protein, which indicates infection or inflammation, artificially depresses serum retinol levels. Failing to adjust for C-reactive protein can lead to an overestimation of the true vitamin A deficiency burden in a population. When a child presents with acute deficiency, clear emergency clinical treatment guidelines apply. On day 1, immediately upon diagnosis of acute xerophthalmia, a 200,000 international unit oral dose is administered. As a follow-up, a second 200,000 international unit dose is administered 1 to 4 weeks later. Special protocols also apply for specific complications. Children suffering from measles must receive 1 dose of vitamin A if they have not received one in the prior month, and cases of severe malnutrition require 1 additional therapeutic dose. Operationally, health workers use a 2 milliliter dispenser spoon with a concentration of 100,000 international units per milliliter to ensure precise oral dosing. Now let us understand the true scale of this problem, both globally and nationally. On the global scale, 190 million preschool children and 19 million pregnant women are affected by vitamin A deficiency, with 48% of the burden concentrated in sub-Saharan Africa and 44% in South Asia. In the Indian context, biochemical deficiency among preschoolers ranges between 15.5 and 17.5%. Among pregnant women, deficiency ranges between 25 and 38%, and among adolescents, deficiency stands at around 16%, surpassing 20% in specific geographic pockets. There are also massive interstate disparities in program coverage. For example, Uttar Pradesh stands at just 7.3% coverage, while West Bengal stands at 41.2%. clearly pointing to the need for localized rather than blanket approaches. Let us now trace the evolution of the Indian prophylaxis program. It began in 1970. The inception launched as a 100% centrally sponsored scheme specifically to combat rampant xerophthalmic blindness and keratomalacia. In 1976, following research by the National Institute of Nutrition, the program was scaled up into universal expansion, mandating universal mega dosing across all Indian states. In 1994, under the Child Survival and Safe Motherhood program, there was a target restriction where eligible ages were narrowed to 9 to 36 months, and the rationale shifted from preventing blindness to a claimed 23% reduction in child mortality. Finally, in 2006, there was an age restoration where the eligible age bracket was expanded back to 9 months through 5 years to maximize health benefits, reinstating the full 9-dose schedule. The National Vitamin A Prophylaxis Program rests on three core objectives, which we can think of as three pillars supporting the roof of the program. Pillar 1 is to eradicate nutritional blindness, eliminating the extreme clinical manifestations of vitamin A deficiency, specifically irreversible keratomalacia and severe xerophthalmia. Pillar 2 is to reduce under 5 mortality, decreasing the mortality rate among preschool children by fortifying immune response and increasing resistance to fatal complications from measles and diarrhea. And pillar 3 is to drive behavioral awareness, executing behavior change communication at the local level to promote breastfeeding and colostrum feeding, along with long-term dietary intake of vitamin A-rich foods. Beyond immediate supplementation, long-term strategies form the true foundation of sustainable prevention. Prophylactic supplementation provides immediate shelter from acute mortality and blindness, but it cannot stand alone. It rests on four supporting pillars: dietary diversification, integrating with integrated child development services and non governmental organizations to promote colostrum feeding and breastfeeding; horticulture, encouraging home gardening of green leafy vegetables like spinach and yellow or orange fruits like papaya; fortification, systemically fortifying commonly consumed milk and oils along with biofortification approaches like golden rice; and infection control, implementing public health measures targeting diarrhea and respiratory infections to prevent retinol depletion in the body. The heart of the program is its service delivery mechanism, known as the 9-dose schedule. The regimen begins at 9 months of age with 100,000 international units, equivalent to 1 milliliter, administered alongside the routine measles vaccine. From 1 to 5 years of age, 200,000 international units, equivalent to 2 milliliters, is administered biannually, adding up to a total of 9 doses before the child's 5th birthday. The delivery mechanism relies heavily on grassroots frontline workers, auxiliary nurse midwives, and Anganwadi workers, operating through the primary health center and integrated child development services networks. Monitoring is carried out through the joint mother-child health card, which serves as the vital tracking node to prevent missed or duplicate dosing. Let us take a diagnostic assessment of this universal mega dosing strategy. Among its strengths, it is a highly cost-effective public health intervention, and it is responsible for the historic eradication of severe nutritional blindness, credited with early reductions in under 5 mortality ranging from 12 to 24%. However, there are also weaknesses, including suboptimal geographic coverage with severe drop-offs in certain states, the risk of toxicity or hypervitaminosis when massive doses are administered irrespective of nutritional status to non-deficient children, and the fact that the program remains resource heavy. Looking at opportunities, there is potential for transitioning to targeted geographic delivery using localized health data and for co-administering supplementation with micronutrient powders for sustained daily intake. rather than relying on sporadic large doses. But there are also threats, including fading clinical relevance as xerophthalmia declines, which threatens future funding, system dependency that makes the program vulnerable to epidemic disruptions, and persistent cultural dietary barriers that continue to limit true dietary diversification. Let us now bring everything together with a final overview of the xerophthalmia progression and the National Intervention Strategy, as classified by the World Health Organization. The progression sits in two tiers. Tier 1 is the warning zone, covering night blindness, conjunctival xerosis, and Bitot's spots. This tier is chronic and reversible, representing long-standing deficiency with no immediate risk of blindness. But there is a blinding tipping point beyond which the condition enters Tier 2, the emergency zone, covering corneal xerosis, corneal ulceration, keratomalacia, and corneal scarring. This tier is acute and irreversible, a medical emergency resulting in rapid liquefaction of the cornea and a high risk of permanent blindness. Against this threat, the National Intervention Strategy stands as a shield built on three core objectives: prevent blindness by eradicating keratomalacia, reduce under 5 mortality by boosting immune resistance to measles and diarrhea, and raise awareness by promoting dietary diversification. This shield covers a target population of universal coverage for highly vulnerable infants and preschool children aged 9 months to 5 years, delivered through the 9-dose mega schedule, beginning with the first dose at 9 months, 100,000 international units alongside the measles vaccine, followed by subsequent doses of 200,000 international units every 6 months until the child's 5th birthday. Hope you have understand about the National Vitamin A Prophylaxis program. If you found this video useful, please watch and share with your friends and colleagues. Thank you.